Rejection is something we all face at some point, yet how we respond to it can shape our lives in profound ways. In the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius and the broader framework of Stoicism, rejection is not seen as a setback, but rather as a powerful tool for growth, resilience, and even success. The concept of reverse psychology is intertwined with this mindset, using rejection or negative responses to steer circumstances in a favorable direction. Imagine if, instead of letting rejection drain your energy, you could harness it, taking lessons from each setback and turning it into an opportunity. That's what this guide is about. 13 lessons inspired by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius that help us see rejection differently and make it work for us. When we recognize rejection not as a stopping point, but as a redirection, we allow ourselves the freedom to focus on the things within our control and embrace a life of inner strength and clarity. From developing a thicker skin to embracing self-improvement, these lessons guide us on how to turn no into growth, motivation, and renewed purpose, aligning with the Stoic ideal of finding opportunity in every challenge. Lesson 1. Cultivating the habit of gratitude in times of adversity. In challenging times, the first emotions that often arise are disappointment, frustration, or even anger. When we face rejection, failure, or unexpected hardships, it's natural to feel disheartened. Yet there is a powerful, transformative tool that can help us navigate these difficulties with resilience and peace: gratitude. Practicing gratitude, even during tough times, can shift our focus away from negativity and empower us to find meaning and growth in adversity. By learning to identify and appreciate the hidden lessons and blessings in each setback, we can build inner strength and develop a habit that benefits every area of our lives. When we encounter challenges, it's easy to feel that life is working against us. However, the habit of gratitude allows us to reframe our perspective and see adversity as an opportunity for growth. Instead of viewing setbacks as barriers, gratitude helps us view them as catalysts for self-improvement. For instance, consider Linda, a marketing professional in New York who was recently passed over for a promotion she had been working towards. Initially, Linda felt disappointed and even resentful. She believed that her hard work had gone unnoticed and began to doubt her abilities. But rather than allowing negative emotions to consume her, Linda decided to practice gratitude. She focused on the skills and experiences she had gained in her role and recognized that, even without the promotion, she had grown significantly in her field. By expressing gratitude for her current position and the skills she had developed, Linda realized that the setback wasn't a rejection of her worth, but an opportunity to refine her goals and push herself further. Embracing this perspective allowed her to continue growing professionally, rather than being weighed down by frustration. Every rejection we experience has a silver lining. Sometimes it's just harder to see. When we practice gratitude, we train ourselves to look beyond the immediate disappointment and identify the lessons or insights hidden within. This shift from frustration to appreciation enables us to develop resilience and confidence. Imagine you applied for a job that you believed was the perfect fit, but were ultimately rejected. It's natural to feel disappointed and question what went wrong. However, practicing gratitude allows you to see the rejection in a new light. Instead of focusing on the loss, you can ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? How did it help me grow? Perhaps the process of applying strengthened your interview skills, clarified what you want in a job, or revealed areas where you can improve. By focusing on these positives, you turn rejection into a valuable learning experience. As a daily practice, take time to reflect on moments of rejection or disappointment and write down at least one positive takeaway from each. This habit not only builds resilience, but also fosters a mindset of continuous improvement, reminding you that every setback is a step forward in your journey. Writing down lessons learned. One effective way to cultivate gratitude during tough times is by keeping a journal dedicated to the lessons learned from each challenge. When we take time to reflect and document what we've gained from a difficult experience, we are better able to internalize its value and develop a sense of gratitude for it. Writing down lessons learned helps us process emotions, gain perspective, and recognize the growth we experience through adversity. This simple act of documenting our insights can reveal patterns, strengths, and areas for improvement. It allows us to appreciate our resilience and the progress we've made over time. After experiencing a tough breakup, you might write about what you learned from the relationship. Perhaps it taught you about the importance of communication, self-respect, or the qualities you want in a partner. By framing these insights as valuable lessons, you move from a place of sadness to one of growth and gratitude. Keeping a lessons learned journal is a way to build self-awareness and see every challenge as a teacher. It helps shift the focus from what went wrong to what was gained, reinforcing a mindset of gratitude and growth. Being thankful for the opportunity to grow. Challenges push us out of our comfort zones and require us to tap into our inner resources. Although facing hardships is never easy, each difficulty presents a unique opportunity to grow stronger and more resilient. By being grateful for these opportunities, we can approach adversity with a mindset of growth. Kevin, a small business owner who experienced significant financial losses during an economic downturn. Initially, he felt overwhelmed and disheartened, worried about the future of his business. But instead of succumbing to despair, Kevin chose to focus on the lessons embedded in this experience. He saw the financial challenges as an opportunity to reassess his business strategies, streamline operations, and become more financially savvy. With gratitude for the opportunity to improve his business acumen, Kevin made strategic adjustments and even developed new skills. As a result, his business recovered stronger than ever. Kevin's experience illustrates how gratitude can transform obstacles into stepping stones towards success. When we are thankful for the chance to improve ourselves, even the toughest challenges become opportunities for growth. Embracing gratitude as a path to resilience. Incorporating gratitude into our lives, especially when facing adversity, is a powerful way to transform our perspective and build resilience. By shifting our focus from what's going wrong to what we're learning, we can approach difficulties with a sense of purpose and appreciation. Developing the habit of gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain or hardship. Rather, it's about recognizing the hidden benefits and opportunities in every challenge. Like Linda, Kevin, and countless others, we can use gratitude to navigate adversity with strength, confidence, and a commitment to growth. When we learn to find the positives within life's toughest moments, we build not only resilience, but also a deeper appreciation for the journey. Each setback becomes a stepping stone, each rejection an opportunity for self-improvement. Embracing gratitude, especially during challenging times, allows us to grow stronger, wiser, and more at peace with the path we're on. Lesson 2. Embrace rejection as a natural part of life. In today's fast-paced world, where competition, the desire for success, and the need for approval have become paramount, learning to accept rejection is an essential skill. Especially in a place like the US, where personal expectations and societal pressures drive many to crave acceptance, rejection can often feel like a deep wound and a blow to confidence. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned philosophers of Stoicism, left humanity a wealth of teachings on handling life's challenges, including how to face rejection. Aurelius believed that how we handle hardships and rejection defines our inner strength and resilience. Rejection, a natural part of life. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius emphasizes that life is inherently imperfect, and people must learn to accept it with a calm mind. He advises not to avoid or fear rejection, as it's an inevitable part of life. By understanding that rejection is a natural occurrence, we can free ourselves from unnecessary pain and low self-worth. In today's society, many people view rejection as a personal failure. They fear rejection from loved ones at work or from their community. But the reality is, rejection is a necessary part of growth. Marcus Aurelius taught that we shouldn't measure ourselves by how others treat us. Instead, we should measure ourselves by how we respond to rejection. A life lesson from Marcus Aurelius: facing challenges head-on instead of avoiding them. Marcus Aurelius, who was one of Rome's greatest emperors, faced numerous challenges in his life: wars, personal loss, illness, and betrayal. But rather than letting these hardships weaken his spirit, he used them to develop his soul and sharpen his intellect. Aurelius viewed rejection and difficulty as opportunities to test his strength, and because of this, he maintained calm and clarity. Aurelius advised that when we face rejection, we should understand that it doesn't diminish our worth. Rather, it's a challenge we can overcome. For example, consider a recent college graduate in the US who gets turned down by top companies. Instead of thinking they're not good enough, they could view this as a necessary step in finding the right job fit. Rejection doesn't define a person's value. It's simply part of the journey to success. In psychology, accepting rejection has been shown to positively affect mental health. Studies reveal that people who see rejection as natural feel less sadness, anxiety, and distress when experiencing it. This is because they don't let rejection influence their self-image. To them, rejection is merely a temporary experience and not a sweeping assessment of their worth. John, an immigrant in the US with dreams of starting a business. When seeking investment, he faced countless rejections from investors. However, instead of feeling defeated, John saw each rejection as an opportunity to learn and refine his idea. He didn't let rejection shape his belief that he was unworthy. Rather, he used it as a lesson to grow and improve. John's acceptance of rejection not only kept his stress levels in check, but also pushed him forward. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that it's our thoughts about rejection that cause us pain, not rejection itself. If we can shift our perspective from viewing rejection as something negative to something positive, we can reduce its impact. One way to do this is by treating rejection as an opportunity to improve and grow. For instance, take Sarah, a creative professional who finds it hard when clients don't accept her work. Instead of giving up or blaming herself, she listens to client feedback to develop her skills and refine her work. By accepting rejection, Sarah can see her weaknesses and areas for growth. This is a real-life example of viewing rejection as an opportunity, a perspective Marcus Aurelius would undoubtedly agree with. Practicing calmness in the face of rejection. Remind yourself about the nature of rejection. Always remember that rejection is a natural part of life. Not everyone can agree with or accept everything about you. Don't let rejection define you. Remember that your worth is not determined by others' acceptance or rejection. Marcus Aurelius teaches that only we can decide our own value. Learn from rejection. Each time you face rejection, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Use rejection as a chance to improve yourself. Focus on what you can control. As Stoic philosophers advise, focus on what you can control and accept what you can't change. You can't control others' reactions, but you can control how you respond. Rejection as a stepping stone for growth. The lesson from Marcus Aurelius on accepting rejection as a natural part of life offers us a new perspective, one that reduces the pressure and pain of rejection. To Marcus, rejection is not an end, but a chance to find a new path. What's important is to remain steadfast. To see rejection as a stepping stone, a lesson to help us grow. From this perspective, rejection becomes normal, a part of life we can fully control our approach to. With this attitude, we can move forward confidently, unburdened by others' judgments. Marcus Aurelius would encourage us to live with the Stoic spirit, to see each rejection as an opportunity to grow, to tap into our inner strength, and to develop ourselves. Lesson 3. Building resilience through adversity. Resilience is more than simply bouncing back. It's about the ability to move forward despite obstacles, to adapt, learn, and grow stronger with each challenge. The American Psychological Association defines resilience as a process of bouncing back from difficult experiences. But Stoicism goes further, seeing resilience as an opportunity to become a stronger, wiser individual. Instead of merely recovering, Stoicism encourages us to thrive because of adversity. In modern America, where pressures often run high, from career challenges to relationship struggles and personal loss, resilience is critical. Many Americans today face a range of adversities, from economic pressures to the challenges of building a career or maintaining relationships in an ever-changing, competitive world. But as the Stoics remind us, it's not the obstacles that define us, but how we respond to them. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that adversity is an inevitable part of life, and that our response to adversity is where true strength lies. In Meditations, he writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This phrase captures the Stoic belief that obstacles are not interruptions but pathways to growth. According to Stoic thought, difficulties help individuals develop mental resilience by allowing them to practice endurance and self-control. Facing adversity isn't about suppressing pain or pretending problems don't exist. It's about accepting them and using them to cultivate inner strength. Aurelius and other Stoics saw hardships as training grounds, where one can exercise control over emotions, maintain inner peace, and refine personal values. Let's take an example from the life of Emma, a young professional working in New York City. Emma moved to the U.S. from a small town in Europe with dreams of building a career in technology. Like many, she faced numerous rejections when applying for jobs in competitive companies. She felt that every no was a step further from her goals. The weight of disappointment was heavy, and each rejection made her question her self-worth and skills. However, Emma decided to take a Stoic approach. Inspired by Marcus Aurelius's teachings, she began viewing these rejections as part of her growth journey, rather than a judgment on her abilities. Instead of letting rejection cripple her confidence, she used it as an opportunity to learn. After each rejection, she would reflect on possible improvements, whether in her resume, interviewing techniques, or technical skills. Over time, Emma not only improved her application approach, but also strengthened her mindset. Rejection no longer carried the same emotional weight. By embracing each no as a stepping stone to her ultimate goals, Emma became more resilient, adapting to each setback with a stronger, calmer attitude. Eventually, her persistence paid off, and she secured a position at a tech company. Emma's journey demonstrates how rejection can build mental resilience, teaching us to grow stronger rather than discouraged from challenges. Developing resilience through rejection. Facing rejection, especially repeatedly, can be emotionally taxing. However, Stoic philosophy reminds us that these experiences are precisely the ones that strengthen us. When we accept adversity as a natural part of life, we're less likely to let it impact our emotional well-being. Marcus Aurelius taught that external events don't harm us, only our judgments of them do. By controlling our judgments, we can maintain a calm mind, regardless of the situation. Accept rejection as inevitable. Recognize that rejection is a part of life. Everyone, even the most successful, faces it. By expecting challenges, we can face them with less emotional turmoil. Reframe setbacks as learning opportunities. Each rejection or failure offers valuable lessons. Instead of seeing them as evidence of inadequacy, view them as opportunities to refine skills and strategies. Practice self-reflection. After each setback, take time to reflect. What went well? What could be improved? Self-reflection transforms setbacks into learning experiences. Focus on what you can control. As the Stoics taught, we can't control external events, but we can control our reactions. Focusing on what we can improve shifts our energy from worry to proactive growth. Develop inner strength. Resilience is built by strengthening our inner resolve. Remind yourself that each setback is temporary, and your determination will ultimately define your path. The role of inner strength and determination. The Stoics believe that resilience comes from cultivating an unshakable inner strength. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of mental clarity and self-discipline. When we face rejection or hardship, our inner strength keeps us steady. By reminding ourselves of our values and long-term goals, we can navigate setbacks without losing sight of who we are. For instance, consider John, a middle-aged man running his own small business in San Francisco. The pandemic created immense challenges for him, and he faced multiple rejections from financial institutions when seeking additional funding. Instead of allowing these obstacles to defeat him, John focused on what he could control, managing his expenses, reaching out to loyal customers, and finding creative solutions. By maintaining his inner resolve and taking each rejection as an opportunity to strengthen his business plan, he eventually found a way to sustain his business and emerge more resilient than before. Resilience as an ongoing practice. Building resilience isn't a one-time achievement, but a continuous practice. Each adversity strengthens our ability to handle future challenges. Stoicism teaches that with every hardship we face, we're training ourselves for life's next difficulty. The more we face, the more resilient we become. In this sense, resilience is like a muscle that requires regular exercise. Every time we encounter a setback or rejection, we have a choice. To let it weaken us or to let it strengthen us? By choosing the latter, we're preparing ourselves for whatever life may throw our way. Resilience, therefore, becomes a habit, a way of living that allows us to remain unshaken by the storms of life, embracing adversity as a pathway to growth. To fully embrace resilience, we must let go of the belief that life should be free from hardship. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that adversity is not the enemy, it's an essential part of our journey. Instead of resisting it, we should learn to welcome it as an opportunity to build our character and inner strength. By seeing adversity as a pathway to growth, we transform our relationship with challenges, viewing them not as threats, but as teachers. Resilience as a key to inner strength. The journey to building resilience is not an easy one, but it's a deeply rewarding one. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic philosophers teach us that adversity is a powerful tool for growth, shaping our character and strengthening our resolve. When we view challenges through this Stoic lens, we realize that life's hardships are not to be avoided but embraced. For those living in a world that often prioritizes quick fixes, developing resilience might seem challenging. But as the stories of Emma, John, and countless others remind us, resilience is not only achievable but necessary for long-term success and fulfillment. By learning to face rejection and adversity with courage and calm, we strengthen not just our outer abilities, but also our inner selves, preparing us for whatever life may bring. In embracing resilience, we not only survive life's storms, but also emerge from them wiser, stronger, and more prepared to face the future. Lesson 4. Detaching from external validation. External validation is the desire for approval, acknowledgement, and acceptance from others. It's deeply ingrained in human nature, as we are social beings who have historically relied on community acceptance for survival. In modern society, this need can manifest in various ways: wanting recognition at work, craving likes and comments on social media, or seeking approval from family and friends. In itself, validation from others isn't negative. Positive reinforcement from others can build confidence and serve as encouragement. However, when we become dependent on it, we give others the power to control our emotions and self-esteem. Marcus Aurelius warns against this dependency. He teaches that relying on others' opinions makes us vulnerable, leading us to change ourselves to fit into others' expectations, rather than staying true to our principles and values. Marcus Aurelius, as the Emperor of Rome, was constantly in the public eye, subject to endless scrutiny and judgment. Yet, despite his position, he practiced and advocated for detachment from others' opinions. In Meditations, he emphasizes, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This principle of inner independence is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. For Marcus Aurelius, a strong individual doesn't rely on the approval of others to define their worth. Instead, they focus on their own values, actions, and inner strength, remaining steadfast even when others disapprove. By detaching from external validation, we free ourselves from being controlled by the opinions and judgments of others, allowing us to act in alignment with our true selves. Reverse psychology can be a valuable tool in breaking our attachment to external validation. Reverse psychology essentially involves acting contrary to what others might expect in order to achieve a specific outcome. When applied to our own mindset, it can help us break the habit of seeking approval by flipping our perspective on validation. Instead of worrying about whether others approve of our choices, reverse psychology encourages us to question why we need their approval in the first place. It prompts us to see validation as an internal process, rather than a dependency on others. By consciously choosing to question the value of external validation, we can begin to recognize how unnecessary it is for our happiness and self-worth. Sarah's journey to self-reliance. Sarah, a marketing professional in Los Angeles, always sought validation in her career. She worked hard to gain the approval of her bosses, spent extra hours perfecting her work for client praise, and relied on social media to feel good about her accomplishments. However, over time, she noticed that this constant craving for validation took a toll on her mental health. She felt anxious when her work wasn't praised, and disappointed when her social media posts didn't receive as many likes as she hoped. Inspired by Stoic philosophy, Sarah decided to apply Marcus Aurelius' principle of detachment from external validation. She began by setting small goals to reduce her dependency on others' approval. Instead of seeking praise, she started focusing on personal growth and self-assessment, asking herself if she was truly satisfied with her work and decisions. By using reverse psychology, she challenged her own need for validation. Each time she felt the urge to seek approval, she'd remind herself, what value does their opinion truly add to my self-worth? Over time, Sarah noticed significant changes. She felt more confident and less anxious. She began enjoying her work for her own satisfaction rather than for the praise it might bring. Her dependency on external validation faded, and she discovered a new sense of self-worth and independence. Sarah's journey shows how freeing it can be to detach from the need for validation, allowing us to take control of our emotional well-being and find satisfaction from within, embracing inner validation and true freedom. The lesson from Marcus Aurelius on detaching from external validation is a timeless and powerful approach to self-mastery. In a world that often prioritizes appearances, likes, and external recognition, choosing to find value from within is a radical act of independence. By practicing inner validation and applying reverse psychology, we can begin to free ourselves from the pressures of seeking approval, finding instead a profound sense of self-worth and inner peace. In embracing this principle, you can live a life true to your values and inner desires, unburdened by the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius would encourage us to hold on to our sense of self, reminding us that true fulfillment comes not from external praise, but from a life lived with integrity and purpose. In doing so, we unlock a freedom that allows us to thrive in an authentic and resilient way. Lesson 5. Learning from failure, not praise. A path to genuine personal growth. In a society that often equates success with approval and sees failure as something to avoid, learning to value failure as a core aspect of growth can be transformative. While praise can feel satisfying, it rarely teaches us as much as failure does. Failure, especially through rejection and setbacks, provides insights and opportunities for self-improvement that praise and success simply cannot offer. By embracing this idea, we align ourselves with a powerful tool for genuine development, one that Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics valued as essential to building inner strength and resilience. Failure often has a bad reputation, mainly because it challenges our comfort zone and brings with it feelings of disappointment and inadequacy. However, the discomfort that failure introduces is precisely what makes it so powerful for growth. When we experience failure, we're forced to reflect, adapt, and refine our approach, which strengthens our resilience and skills. In contrast, praise tends to reinforce existing behaviors rather than encourage us to stretch beyond our limits. When we receive praise, it's easy to become complacent, to believe that we've arrived, or that there's little more to improve. While it can boost confidence, praise often lacks the depth and challenge required for self-transformation. Failure, on the other hand, keeps us humble, pushes us to explore alternative paths, and highlights areas where we can grow. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, viewed adversity as a way to test and strengthen one's character. He believed that obstacles should not be feared or avoided, but embraced as part of life's journey. For Marcus, setbacks and failures provided opportunities to practice resilience, patience, and self-control, qualities essential for personal development. Aurelius's Stoic philosophy teaches us that rejection and failure aren't personal judgments of our worth, but are instead valuable guides pointing us toward our weaknesses, where the most potential for growth lies. By viewing failure as a teacher, rather than an adversary, we can detach from the negative emotions associated with it, and instead see it as a crucial component of our journey toward mastery. Michael, a young entrepreneur living in New York, had dreams of starting a tech company. Inspired by the success stories of startup founders, he thought his innovative ideas would quickly gain traction. However, as he began pitching his business to investors, he was met with rejection after rejection. Each time, he received feedback that seemed more critical than supportive. Initially, he felt disheartened, even questioning his own abilities and the value of his ideas. But after some reflection, Michael decided to adopt a different perspective. Instead of seeing these rejections as setbacks, he began viewing them as opportunities to strengthen his business model. He revisited each piece of feedback and, rather than focusing on the negative feelings associated with rejection, used it to identify weaknesses in his pitch and product. He refined his business plan, made strategic adjustments, and learned to better communicate his vision. In the process, Michael not only improved his company, but also grew as an individual. He developed patience, resilience, and the ability to handle criticism constructively. Eventually, he succeeded in securing investment, and his startup began to flourish. Michael's journey illustrates the power of learning from rejection, how setbacks can be more instructive than praise. Praise might have confirmed his assumptions, but failure pushed him to adapt, evolve, and build a stronger foundation for his dreams. The path to genuine growth. In a world that often celebrates success and ignores the struggles that lead to it, valuing failure as a tool for growth can be a powerful shift. By learning from failure instead of praise, we build a foundation of resilience, adaptability, and humility. Each setback becomes a stepping stone, bringing us closer to our goals with a stronger understanding of ourselves and a more profound capacity for growth. Through real-life examples like Michael's, we see how embracing failure and learning from rejection can lead to personal transformation. The lessons we gain from setbacks offer unique insights, pushing us to challenge ourselves and evolve beyond what praise could ever inspire. By following Marcus Aurelius' guidance and reframing failure as a teacher rather than an adversary, we unlock a new perspective, one that values growth over immediate validation, resilience over comfort, and long-term fulfillment over temporary success. Lesson 6. Turning rejection into motivation for success. Tom has encountered numerous rejections throughout his career. Here are some examples of his experiences with rejection and the positive outcomes he gained. Rejection 1. Early in his career, Tom applied to a major company but was turned down due to a lack of experience. Positive outcome. He then chose to work at a smaller company where he could develop his skills and build his portfolio. Within 2 years, he gained extensive experience, which later qualified him for the position he had initially wanted. Rejection 2. After some time, Tom applied for a senior role but was rejected because he lacked managerial skills. Positive outcome. Instead of feeling discouraged, he enrolled in leadership and management courses. After upskilling, Tom reapplied and was accepted into a managerial role in the company. Rejection 3. Tom submitted a design to a significant client but was rejected because the client didn't like his style. Positive outcome. This rejection pushed Tom to study different design styles and understand client preferences. Over time, he developed a versatile style that appealed to a broader range of clients, significantly advancing his career. With each rejection, Tom not only improved his skills, but also built patience and adaptability, qualities that are essential for success in any field. Seeing each failure as a lesson helps us stay grounded and prevents setbacks from holding us back. Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "Face difficulties and you grow stronger." Each failure is a chance to improve skills, resilience, and self-awareness. Set bigger goals when facing challenges. When faced with rejection or failure, rather than giving up, treat it as an opportunity to set even bigger goals. This approach not only reinforces your capabilities, but also fuels your drive to overcome obstacles. By setting new, bigger goals after each setback, we can avoid being passive in the face of adversity, and instead use challenges as motivation to achieve success. Take Sarah, for example, a young woman passionate about becoming an attorney at a prestigious law firm in the U.S. Despite applying multiple times, Sarah was turned down due to a lack of experience. Instead of abandoning her dream, she set an even bigger goal of working for a government agency in a public law organization. This goal required Sarah to expand her legal knowledge, enhance her ability to work with interdisciplinary teams, and tackle complex issues. The effort she put into pursuing this bigger goal helped Sarah build an impressive skill set and strengthened her resume. Thanks to her determination and the abilities she demonstrated at the community law organization, Sarah eventually received an offer from the law firm she had always wanted to join. Setting bigger goals not only helped Sarah develop, but also opened new doors for her career. Rejection. a gateway to success. Rather than letting rejection drain your motivation, view it as a challenge that helps you grow. Each rejection is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and improve. Keeping a list of rejections and the positive outcomes they led to helps us reflect on our progress, transforming rejection into a powerful source of motivation. Facing rejection and failure isn't easy, but those obstacles will drive us to become stronger and more resilient. Every rejection is a chance to grow, and by learning to turn rejection into motivation, we move closer to success. Lesson 7. Building resilience, strengthening endurance and persistence. Resilience, the ability to endure and bounce back from adversity, is a quality that's highly valued but often challenging to develop. Life's obstacles, be it rejection, failure, or unexpected setbacks, can make resilience feel like an elusive trait. However, each time we face rejection or difficulty, we have an opportunity to build our resilience. Through consistent practice and small, deliberate challenges, resilience becomes a learned habit, empowering us to face life's ups and downs with a steadfast mindset. Embracing rejection as a building block of resilience. Rejection is something everyone experiences at various points in life, yet few of us are taught how to handle it constructively. When we face rejection, whether in our personal lives, careers, or social circles, it's easy to feel discouraged and lose motivation. However, each rejection offers a chance to reinforce our endurance and persistence, transforming what might seem like failure into a stepping stone toward resilience. Anna, a young writer living in Los Angeles, who dreams of getting her work published. She submits her articles to various magazines and journals, only to receive a series of rejection letters. Initially, Anna feels discouraged, doubting her talent and questioning whether writing is the right path for her. But after some reflection, she decides to shift her perspective. Instead of viewing each rejection as a setback, Anna chooses to see it as a reminder to refine her craft and build her endurance. Over time, Anna learns to take each rejection in stride. She starts setting goals to improve her writing, actively seeks feedback from peers, and even celebrates each rejection as a sign of her commitment to the journey. Through this experience, Anna builds resilience, learning to withstand disappointment without losing sight of her dreams. By embracing rejection as part of the process, she becomes more determined, confident, and prepared to persist despite challenges. Developing resilience goes far beyond helping us get through tough times. It has lasting impacts on our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. When we are resilient, we experience reduced stress, increased confidence, and a more positive outlook on life. We become better equipped to face adversity without being overwhelmed, and this strength extends to all aspects of our lives. For instance, resilient people tend to have stronger relationships because they are better able to manage conflicts and maintain a positive perspective. They also tend to be more successful professionally, as they can navigate workplace challenges and setbacks with determination and poise. Additionally, resilience fosters emotional stability. Life is unpredictable, but when we have a resilient mindset, we can navigate changes with greater ease. We're less likely to be derailed by unexpected obstacles and more likely to find productive solutions when difficulties arise. Resilience is not something we're born with. It's a skill we can build and strengthen over time. By embracing rejection as an opportunity to enhance our endurance, setting small daily challenges, and viewing obstacles as opportunities for growth, we can cultivate a resilient mindset that carries us through life's inevitable trials. The journey to resilience requires consistency, self-compassion, and a willingness to face discomfort. But as we continue to practice resilience, we develop the strength to face even the toughest situations with determination and grace. Remember, every small challenge you tackle today is a step toward becoming more resilient tomorrow. By fostering resilience, we don't just learn to survive life's challenges, we learn to thrive, regardless of the obstacles we encounter. Lesson 8. Maintaining a positive attitude when facing challenges. Challenges are an inevitable part of life, whether it's a tough project at work, a personal struggle, or a major life transition. Challenges test our resilience and push us out of our comfort zones. While the instinct may be to shy away or feel discouraged, Adopting a positive attitude toward adversity can transform how we experience and overcome it. By learning to view challenges as opportunities and embracing the journey of growth, we can cultivate a mindset that not only helps us endure, but also thrive. Embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. When we face challenges, it's easy to view them as setbacks or obstacles standing in the way of our goals. However, challenges can be some of life's greatest teachers. By adopting a growth mindset, we can reframe challenges as valuable learning experiences. Instead of seeing difficulties as things to avoid, we begin to view them as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Sarah is a recent college graduate who moved to New York for her first job. She found herself struggling with the demands of her new role and felt overwhelmed by the fast pace of city life. Initially, she felt discouraged and wondered if she had made the right decision. But rather than giving in to frustration, Sarah decided to approach her new life with a positive mindset. She set small, manageable goals for herself, reached out for support, and embraced each day as a chance to learn and adapt. By focusing on growth and seeing each challenge as a stepping stone, Sarah gradually gained confidence and found joy in overcoming her initial obstacles. Sarah's experience illustrates the power of reframing challenges. By viewing difficulties as opportunities for growth, we learn to embrace the unknown with excitement instead of dread. Each challenge becomes a lesson, and every struggle adds to our personal growth. Finding joy in the process of overcoming challenges. Maintaining a positive attitude doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties or pretending that challenges are easy. Instead, it's about finding joy and fulfillment in the journey. This mindset shift allows us to see challenges not as exhausting battles, but as exciting adventures that add depth to our lives. One way to find joy in the process is to celebrate small victories. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Recognizing and celebrating these moments boosts our motivation and reminds us of our ability to overcome. Imagine you're training for a marathon. Instead of focusing solely on the end goal, celebrate each mile completed, every early morning run, and the improvements in your endurance. By acknowledging these achievements, you shift your focus from the stress of the challenge to the satisfaction of growth. Jake, an architect in Chicago working on a complex project with tight deadlines. The project required him to learn new software and solve challenging design issues. Instead of feeling weighed down by the pressure, Jake chose to enjoy each part of the process. He found satisfaction in mastering the software, felt a sense of accomplishment with each design hurdle he overcame, and celebrated the progress of his work. By focusing on the positive aspects of his journey, Jake turned what could have been a stressful project into a rewarding experience. When we find joy in each step of overcoming challenges, we create a more fulfilling life. We're not just waiting for the reward at the end. We're savoring every moment of the journey, transforming obstacles into meaningful experiences. Expanding perspectives through new experiences. One powerful way to maintain a positive attitude during challenges is by expanding our perspectives through new experiences. Trying something new, like learning a skill or traveling, can be an incredible way to reset our mindset, gain fresh insights, and approach challenges with a renewed spirit. Travel, in particular, exposes us to different cultures, environments, and ways of life. When we see how others navigate their own challenges in different contexts, we gain a new perspective on our own struggles. Take Emma, for instance, a marketing executive who, after a challenging year, decided to travel solo across Europe. The journey exposed her to new ideas, people, and challenges she hadn't anticipated. Navigating unfamiliar cities, communicating in new languages, and adapting to different cultures taught her resilience and adaptability. When she returned home, she found herself better equipped to handle her work challenges with a fresh mindset and a renewed sense of positivity. Similarly, learning a new skill can broaden our perspective and help us approach challenges with an open mind. Whether it's picking up a musical instrument, practicing yoga, or learning a new language, the process of acquiring a skill teaches patience, persistence, and the value of small progress. By engaging in new activities, we develop a growth-oriented mindset that helps us face life's challenges with optimism and creativity. Life's challenges are inevitable, but how we choose to face them can make all the difference. By maintaining a positive attitude, we can transform obstacles into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Whether it's finding joy in the process, trying new experiences, or celebrating small victories, a positive mindset allows us to navigate life's challenges with grace and determination. Lesson 9. Focusing on what you can control. It's essential to understand that much of what happens in life is beyond our influence. We cannot control other people's thoughts, actions, or perceptions of us. We also can't predict every twist and turn life will take. When we invest too much energy worrying about these things, we're setting ourselves up for frustration and disappointment. One powerful lesson in accepting the uncontrollable comes from the ancient Stoic philosophers. They taught that while external events are outside our control, our reactions to them are entirely within our power. By focusing on what we can control, we maintain our sense of calm and resilience, regardless of external circumstances. For example, imagine you're working on a team project, and one of your colleagues constantly misses deadlines, creating delays. While you cannot control your colleague's behavior, you can control how you respond. Instead of getting frustrated or resentful, you can focus on communicating clearly, adjusting your schedule, or finding alternative solutions. Shifting your attention away from your colleague's actions to your own response empowers you to handle the situation constructively, reducing your stress and frustration. One of the most valuable aspects of focusing on what you can control is learning to respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. When we react to situations, we often let emotions like anger, frustration, or fear take control. However, when we take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose our response, we maintain a sense of agency over the situation. Consider a scenario where someone criticizes you unfairly. An impulsive reaction might be to argue back or become defensive, which can escalate the situation and lead to further stress. However, by pausing and responding calmly, you can choose a constructive approach. You might respond by acknowledging their feedback, asking questions to clarify, or simply deciding not to engage. By focusing on your response, rather than their words, you preserve your peace and prevent the situation from dictating your emotional state. Responding thoughtfully allows us to protect our well-being while handling conflicts in a balanced and mature way. It reminds us that while we can't control how others treat us, we can control how we respond, which is ultimately more empowering. Building inner peace through acceptance. Acceptance is a core principle when it comes to focusing on what we can control. Acceptance does not mean resignation or giving up. Instead, it means acknowledging reality without letting it disturb our peace. When we accept things as they are, especially those we cannot change, we free ourselves from the burden of frustration and disappointment. For example, suppose you're caught in a traffic jam, running late for an important meeting. There's little you can do to change the situation, but you do have control over how you respond. You can choose to become frustrated, honking the horn and watching the minutes tick by anxiously, or you can take a deep breath, accept that the situation is beyond your control, and focus on preparing mentally for the meeting. Perhaps you use the time to practice deep breathing, review your notes, or listen to a calming podcast. Acceptance doesn't change the traffic, but it does change your experience of it. Cultivating acceptance requires practice, but it's a skill that can transform our daily lives. When we learn to accept what we can't control, we cultivate a sense of calm and resilience that protects our inner peace, even during difficult times. Michelle, a teacher in Boston, who was initially anxious about how her students and their parents would perceive her during her first year of teaching. She wanted every lesson to be perfect and every parent to be fully satisfied, which led to high levels of stress and self-doubt. Over time, Michelle learned that she couldn't control every student's or parent's perception, nor could she ensure that every lesson would be flawless. Instead, she chose to focus on what she could control: her preparation, her dedication, and her openness to feedback. By concentrating on her own efforts and growth, Michelle felt more confident and less affected by external judgments. Her experience shows that by focusing on our actions rather than others' reactions, we build resilience and inner peace. Another example is James, an entrepreneur in California, whose business faced financial difficulties during an economic downturn. While James couldn't control the economy or his customers' spending habits, he could control how he adapted to the circumstances. Instead of worrying about the economic situation, he focused on finding creative solutions, reducing expenses, and exploring alternative income sources. By concentrating on the aspects within his influence, James navigated the crisis with a sense of control and optimism, ultimately helping his business recover. Embracing control over ourselves. Learning to focus on what we can control is a lifelong practice that requires patience and commitment. By letting go of external expectations and directing our energy toward our responses, we cultivate inner peace, resilience, and empowerment. This shift in focus not only helps us navigate challenges, but also enriches our overall well-being. Remember, every situation offers an opportunity to choose how we react. By concentrating on our responses, we develop a sense of agency and calm that isn't swayed by external events. Embracing this mindset allows us to approach life with a centered, peaceful outlook, knowing that while we may not control the world around us, we always control ourselves. Lesson 10. Embracing new opportunities. Rejection can be a tough pill to swallow, often bringing feelings of disappointment, self-doubt, or even frustration. However, viewing rejection as a signal to explore a new path can change our perspective entirely. Instead of seeing it as a personal failure, consider that the no you received might simply be life's way of guiding you toward a more suitable opportunity. Sarah, a graphic designer who spent months applying for her dream job at a prestigious agency. After multiple interviews, she was ultimately turned down. Initially, Sarah felt crushed and questioned her abilities. However, instead of dwelling on the rejection, she decided to shift her focus and explore freelance opportunities. This decision not only allowed her to build a diverse portfolio, but also opened doors to collaborations with clients from different industries, something she wouldn't have experienced had she been hired by the agency. Over time, Sarah found that freelancing suited her skills, personality, and lifestyle far better than working in a structured corporate environment. Sarah's experience illustrates how a no can lead to a new, unexpected yes. By seeing rejection as a sign to try something different, we allow ourselves to tap into opportunities that may have been hidden before. Letting go of what isn't meant for you. One of the hardest things in life is to let go of something we've invested time, effort, or emotion into. It's easy to cling to what we think we want, even if it's not truly serving us. However, holding on to something that isn't meant for us can prevent us from discovering what is. By letting go, we free up space for better-suited opportunities to come our way. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing when a situation isn't aligned with our true potential or values. For example, imagine Tom, a young professional who had spent years working in finance. Although he was well compensated, Tom felt unfulfilled and yearned for more creativity in his work. Despite this, he resisted change, fearing he would lose the stability he had built. But when a promotion he'd been working towards fell through, Tom decided it was time to explore other fields. He eventually transitioned into marketing, where he found a balance between creativity and strategy, making him feel more energized and motivated in his career. Tom's journey demonstrates that letting go can be liberating. It opens up the opportunity to pursue paths that may be more in line with our interests and skills, allowing us to grow into our full potential. Being flexible in the face of rejection. Flexibility is a crucial trait when it comes to navigating life's inevitable ups and downs. When one door closes, having the willingness to adapt and explore other doors is a skill that can lead to both personal and professional fulfillment. Instead of seeing rejection as a barrier, flexibility helps us see it as a bridge leading to something new. To cultivate this flexibility, start by viewing each no as a lesson rather than a setback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use it to improve my approach next time? For instance, if a job application is rejected, use it as an opportunity to refine your resume, strengthen your interview skills, or even reconsider what type of role best suits your strengths and passions. This mindset shift turns rejection from something painful into a powerful tool for growth. Embracing the power of new beginnings. By viewing rejection as a stepping stone rather than a setback, we create space for growth, self-discovery, and fulfillment. Life may close one door, but there are countless others waiting to be explored, each with unique possibilities and potential. Remember, every rejection is simply a redirection. It's life's way of guiding you toward opportunities that are a better fit for your strengths, values, and aspirations. Embracing new beginnings doesn't mean abandoning your goals. It means being flexible and open enough to discover the paths that lead you to them. By letting go of what isn't meant for you, you're making room for something better. Lesson 11. Embracing self-worth. Recognizing that your value isn't defined by others. One of the most challenging lessons to learn is that rejection in any form does not reflect your intrinsic value. Whether it's a job opportunity, a relationship, or social acceptance, being turned away or ignored can sting. It can lead to questions like, am I not good enough? Or what's wrong with me? But remember, rejection is often more about the other party's needs, goals, or perspective than it is about who you are as a person. Imagine a talented artist who submits their work to multiple galleries but receives a string of rejections. It would be easy for them to question their talent and feel discouraged. But in reality, the rejection might stem from factors entirely unrelated to the artist's abilities, such as the gallery's current focus or space limitations. By reframing rejection as a business decision or a difference in taste rather than a verdict on their worth, the artist can continue pursuing opportunities without doubting their skills. This lesson holds in all areas of life. Rejection does not define your worth. Rather than internalizing every no, focus on the aspects within your control, such as honing your craft, building resilience, and continuing to put yourself out there. Recognizing that rejection is part of the journey rather than a statement of your value helps you approach each experience with a sense of self-assurance. Building confidence in your self-worth means understanding that you are valuable simply because you are. Your worth is not dependent on others' opinions, and your strengths, uniqueness, and personality have an intrinsic value that cannot be taken away by rejection or criticism. A powerful way to build confidence in your self-worth is through self-reflection. Take time to list your strengths, skills, and qualities that make you unique. This can include your empathy, creativity, resilience, sense of humor, or any other quality that brings value to your life and those around you. When you're able to see and acknowledge these traits, you're less likely to be swayed by negative opinions or the need for external validation. Consider the example of Emma, a software engineer who struggled with imposter syndrome in her high-pressure job. She constantly sought approval from her team and feared making mistakes. Over time, she began keeping a journal of her accomplishments and positive feedback she received. By regularly reflecting on her strengths and achievements, Emma started building an internal source of validation. Her confidence grew, and she no longer depended as heavily on others' opinions to feel capable. Embracing your intrinsic value has profound benefits that extend beyond personal well-being. When you're not dependent on others for validation, you develop a stronger sense of autonomy and resilience. You're less likely to be swayed by criticism, and you can approach challenges with a positive mindset, knowing that your worth is secure. Additionally, this self-assuredness positively impacts your relationships. When you don't rely on others for your self-worth, you're able to give and receive love and support in a balanced, healthy way. You're also more likely to attract people who respect and value you, as confidence in your own worth is magnetic. Professionally, embracing self-worth fosters confidence, allowing you to take risks, share ideas, and pursue your ambitions without fear of judgment. This attitude empowers you to achieve your goals and maintain a strong sense of purpose, regardless of others' opinions. By shifting focus from external opinions to personal growth, self-compassion, and gratitude, you build a resilient foundation of self-worth. This foundation allows you to navigate life with confidence, knowing that rejection, criticism, and others' perceptions are simply parts of the journey, not reflections of your value. Lesson 12. Using rejection as a tool for clarity. When we face rejection, our first instinct is often to view it negatively, to see it as a sign that we weren't good enough, or that our efforts were wasted. However, if we shift our perspective, Rejection can become a mirror, reflecting back to us what may need attention or realignment in our lives. It invites us to examine our choices, values, and motivations, encouraging a deeper level of introspection. Consider Sam, an ambitious professional who spent months applying for his dream job at a prestigious tech company. After multiple rounds of interviews, he was ultimately rejected. Initially, Sam felt defeated and frustrated, questioning his career path. However, after reflecting on his motivations, he realized that much of his drive for this job was rooted in external validation and the allure of prestige. The rejection prompted Sam to rethink his career priorities and to seek a role where he could focus on personal growth, creativity, and balance. Rejection, in this case, helped Sam uncover his true values and find a career path more aligned with his authentic self. In situations like Sam's, rejection becomes a tool for clarity. It forces us to ask, was I pursuing this for the right reasons? By examining our motivations, we gain insights into what genuinely drives us, helping us to make decisions that are better aligned with our core values. Rejection as a way to refine goals. One of the hidden benefits of rejection is that it encourages us to clarify and refine our goals. Sometimes we pursue certain goals out of habit, societal expectations, or even a sense of obligation, without fully considering if they truly align with our aspirations. Rejection can serve as a wake-up call, nudging us to reassess our objectives and realign them with our true desires. Imagine Lisa, an aspiring author who received numerous rejection letters for her first novel. Although disappointed, she used each rejection as an opportunity to improve her writing and better understand her audience. Through this process, she discovered that her initial goal of writing a bestseller wasn't as fulfilling as she had imagined. Instead, she found joy in writing stories that deeply resonated with her, regardless of commercial success. Lisa's journey illustrates how rejection can be an opportunity to refine our goals and rediscover what genuinely brings us satisfaction. In this way, rejection acts as a compass, pointing us back toward goals that are meaningful rather than superficial. By embracing rejection as feedback, we gain a better understanding of the specific steps we need to take to reach our desired outcomes and how to make them more personally meaningful. Seeing rejection as an ally. The concept of reverse psychology, using opposition to spark motivation, can be helpful in reframing rejection. Instead of seeing rejection as a final answer, consider it a challenge to explore alternative paths or perspectives. By treating rejection as an ally rather than an adversary, we unlock the potential to learn from the experience and redirect our energy toward opportunities that align more closely with our values. For example, if you're turned down for a promotion at work, you could respond in one of two ways: view it as a failure, or use it as a sign to assess whether that promotion would have fulfilled your career aspirations. This type of reverse psychology encourages us to question our initial desires, helping us determine if we're pursuing something out of genuine interest or merely a need for validation. When we embrace rejection as a constructive force, we become more open to reevaluating our goals and realigning them. This shift allows us to view rejection not as a reflection of our inadequacies, but as an opportunity to reassess and strengthen our commitment to what truly matters. Rejection, though often painful, has the potential to become one of our greatest teachers. By using rejection as a tool for clarity, we gain insight into our values, refine our goals, and strengthen our commitment to what truly matters. Each rejection becomes a stepping stone toward self-discovery, encouraging us to build a life that aligns with our authentic selves. Instead of fearing rejection, consider embracing it as a valuable part of the journey. When we use rejection as an opportunity to reassess, reflect, and redirect, we not only build resilience but also create a clearer path toward a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. Lesson 13. Cultivating patience through rejection. Rejection is often difficult to accept, as it challenges our sense of worth and progress. When we face rejection, whether in personal relationships, career pursuits, or personal goals, our first reaction is often frustration or disappointment. However, if we approach rejection with a Stoic mindset, we can see it as an opportunity to cultivate patience. Consider Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, who often reflected on the value of patience and resilience in the face of hardship. He emphasized that external events are beyond our control, but we can control our responses to them. In moments of rejection, we have a choice: to dwell on the immediate pain of disappointment, or to patiently learn from the experience, using it as fuel for growth and wisdom. Let's take the example of Sarah, an aspiring writer who submitted her first novel to multiple publishers, only to receive rejection after rejection. Initially, she felt defeated, doubting her abilities. However, she chose to view each rejection as a lesson, patiently revising her manuscript based on the feedback she received. Through this process, Sarah learned the importance of perseverance and refinement. Her patience paid off when her novel was eventually accepted by a publisher, and she emerged from the experience not only as a published author, but as a stronger, more resilient individual. Rejection, when embraced as a teacher, instills patience by reminding us that success is rarely immediate. It teaches us to wait, to trust the process, and to keep refining our efforts, knowing that the journey itself is as valuable as the destination. Stoicism and the virtue of patience. Stoic philosophy teaches that patience is essential to living a balanced and fulfilling life. The Stoics believed that we cannot control external events, such as rejection, but we can control how we respond to them. By practicing patience, we learn to accept what we cannot change, focusing instead on the actions and attitudes within our power. For the Stoics, patience was not merely waiting without complaint. It was an active state of endurance and resilience. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, taught that our reactions to life's challenges are what define us. He encouraged people to view obstacles as opportunities to strengthen their character. In the face of rejection, the Stoic approach would be to exercise patience, viewing the experience not as a personal failure, but as an opportunity to grow and develop a stronger character. Applying this Stoic virtue to modern life can be incredibly empowering. When faced with rejection, we can choose to practice patience, accepting that this moment is part of a larger journey. By reframing rejection in this way, we build the mental resilience to persevere through future challenges. Understanding that every setback is a chance to practice the art of patience and develop a stronger, more resilient mindset. Patience builds mental resilience, allowing us to handle rejection, disappointment, and delays without feeling defeated. It helps us stay calm, focused, and determined in the face of challenges, giving us the strength to pursue our goals with clarity and purpose. Additionally, patience enriches our relationships. When we're patient with ourselves, we're more likely to be understanding and compassionate toward others. This strengthens our connections, reduces conflicts, and fosters a sense of empathy. By practicing patience, we create a more peaceful and fulfilling life, both personally and professionally. In wrapping up these lessons on reverse psychology through the lens of Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy, we see that rejection isn't necessarily an endpoint, but rather a valuable opportunity. Each instance of rejection can be a stepping stone to inner growth, honing patience and cultivating resilience. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic philosophers not only teach us to accept what lies beyond our control, but also emphasize the power of mastering our responses. Instead of letting rejection weaken your resolve, transform it into fuel for growth. By shifting your focus from seeking external approval to embracing inner values and potential, you can unlock mental strength and embark on a journey free from psychological limitations. Each no you face becomes a chance to reflect, adjust, and fortify yourself. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius once said, perform your duty well and let the outcome be what it may. Let rejection serve as a teacher, guiding you forward and empowering you to live a life of greater meaning and worth. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Let's strive to live better, more respectful lives. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic.